So 2023 is here. Let's be honest, 2022 has been one hell of a ride for us Amazon FBA sellers. However, I think it's time for us to talk about what's in store this year. Now this video is going to be super important for us existing sellers because we need to know about what's on the horizon. To be a great Amazon FBA seller is all about anticipation of what's about to happen and preparation, figuring out what exactly we can do to make sure that we continue to sell profitably in the future. And if you haven't got your Amazon business set up just yet, you still may want to watch this. Hopefully this video will answer the questions that are burning inside a lot of you. Like, are you too late to start? Have you missed the boat? Are you gonna waste your time? And is it even worth it? But before that, let's hear from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Awesome. If you're watching this and thinking, you know what, I really want to give this Amazon FBA thing a go, but I just don't know where to start, I'll tell you where to start. It's by scheduling a free call with Awesome. They are e-commerce accountants who specialize in pretty much everything when it comes to setting up your own online business. Things like setting up your limited company, business bank accounts, and your actual accounts. Also, I'll let you in on a little secret. Because they are experts in dealing with online businesses, unlike many of the other accountants out there, they will help you every step of the way to run your business as tax efficiently as possible. Seriously guys, I can't recommend them enough, so don't forget to give them a call. Mention my name so they really look after you. And with that, let's get back to the video. Alright, so if we're going to look into the company's future and where exactly it's heading, Amazon's stock price is a good place to start. Now, for those of you that don't know, a stock price is a good indicator for any company. If a company has a lot of growth and potential in normal market conditions, its stock price is likely to go to the moon. On the flip side, if the company isn't too profitable and doesn't show much growth in the future, the price is usually going to stay flat or start to decline. And for Amazon, it's not looking good. Matter of fact, in 2022, the stock price for Amazon went from $166 per share all the way down to $84. Basically, this means the company is now worth half of what it was worth a year ago. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not a good sign. This shows that investors do not have as much confidence in Amazon as they did quite a while back. And given the fact that they are putting billions of dollars into these companies, you better believe their research is pretty good. However, it brings me to the question, why? Why would a share price drop so much in a single year? If you look at their financials, you see that their revenues have grown from 116 billion to 121 billion to now 127 billion just in the last 3 quarters. From what I'm seeing, it's looking pretty good. And the answer is simple. It's because of the rise in interest rates. Higher interest rates means higher costs of borrowing and therefore less disposable income for various goods and services. And because of this, I believe investors are doubtful whether or not Amazon will continue to grow like this in the future. Which very nicely brings me on to my next point, recession. Unless you have been living under a rock, you've probably seen a whole bunch of headlines how the cost of living is only going one way, and that's up. Everything is so much more expensive than it was 2 years ago. I'm talking about electricity, gas, food, rents, everything is now more expensive. Except for wages, those seem to be staying consistently nice and flat. And this is the problem. Not just for Amazon sellers, but for pretty much any business out there. With less demand comes less sales and therefore less profit. Well, at least in the short term. So, the question is, can we do anything about this? Well, yes, matter of fact we can. I personally will be adding a whole new criteria to my product research, and I'm discussing this with my students as we speak. And that is how essential the item actually is that I'm trying to source from China. Is it a luxury item that has to be sold at a high price? Or is it an essential item that customers will have no other choice but to buy? By selling more and more essential items, you're kind of protecting yourself because you know that your customers will buy from you no matter what the economic conditions are. This is why supermarkets, petrol stations, electric providers don't really care what the state of the economy is actually in. They are selling essential goods and services that we simply can't do anything without. Next comes the rise in competition from other marketplaces. Up until now, Amazon has been enjoying a massive monopoly in the e-commerce space because of their next day delivery and just better customer service. I mean, let's be honest, if you're gonna buy something, where do you go first? Amazon. However, in 2023 and the years ahead, I think this will start to change. Smaller companies and giant tech firms are now investing into infrastructure to compete with them. For example, TikTok is now using their massive user base to start selling various items worldwide. Shopify is also looking to expand their service and start up a few fulfillment centers. Even Google and Facebook are now looking into different ways of how they can take more share of that massive e-commerce market. And with billions in the bank, you better believe Amazon is worried. But that being said, should an Amazon FBA seller be worried? Personally, I don't think so. See, more competition and more marketplace is kind of a good thing. We already have the knowledge of product research, speaking to suppliers, and creating actual listings. But now in the future, instead of just listing everything on Amazon, we may also list them on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Shopify, and pretty much anywhere else that has customers. That essentially will reduce our reliance on just Amazon for our income. Therefore, in my opinion, competition is Amazon's problem, not mine. Next up, we have Google Trends. Now, this is one of the best research tools you will find on the internet. Google Trends is great for product research and finding out what's trending right now. And when researching for this video, I was curious to see what the trend line is for Amazon these days. And at a quick glance, you will always see that Amazon usually picks up around November and December. And it's pretty much obvious why. You want to buy any gifts? You go to Amazon. This has been relatively consistent every single year. However, if you zoom out over the last 15 years, you will see that the overall trend for Amazon is relatively flat. Now, here's the question. Is that good or bad? Well, let's have a look at some of the competition. First, Etsy. As you can see, they have been tremendously boosted since the pandemic in 2020. And ever since, they are still at all-time highs in terms of interest. Now let's look at Shopify. Once again, all-time highs. Now, I understand with Shopify is a little bit different because it isn't actually a marketplace. However, it does tell me that more and more people are interested in opening up their own online e-commerce store, which are still technically competitors of Amazon. And last but not least, TikTok. Once again, a massive spurt over the last 2 years. However, the question with them is, will it continue or start slowing down? So the answer for the original question of, is demand flattening for Amazon a bad sign? In short, yes it is when other marketplaces are becoming more and more popular. However, once again, remember, this may not necessarily be bad for us. Now, this next bit of news is a bit sad, and that is the fact that quite a few Amazon warehouses are shutting down. For those of you that don't know, Amazon currently is going through the largest amount of layoffs in their company history. And with 18,000 jobs going away, it isn't something you want to ignore. And especially in the UK, 3 warehouses are going to be shut down in 2023. However, to me, once again, it doesn't sound too bad when you put things in perspective. Yes, 18,000 layoffs does sound like a lot, but remember, Amazon employs over 1.5 million people worldwide. And the staff that are being laid off are being offered jobs in other departments of the business. So to me, it sounds more like a business restructure as opposed to letting people go with no alternative. This is no comparison to Elon Musk letting go of 75% of the workforce at Twitter. See, as businesses continue to grow and grow, all of them run the risk of overhiring or just hiring in the wrong places. And during uncertain times ahead like a recession, you really have to look at ways of how you can maximize the productivity of your workforce and not go bankrupt. Now, Amazon isn't going bankrupt in the future, but you get my point. And last but not least, and this one really scares me the most, Chatbot GPT. Now, I'll be honest, I really don't know what it has in store for all of us, or how it actually works. However, the fact that it can create such detailed answers to pretty much any question I throw at it does scare me a little. It really seems like AI is taking more and more of our daily lives. And if it gets rolled out further, who knows, it may not just be the mundane jobs that they're going to be replacing. I mean, there is no reason why big giant companies can't use AI to start listing pretty much everything and selling themselves. However, that being said, I believe that is much more of a global problem as opposed to just for us Amazon FBA sellers. Only time will tell where this one goes. Now, I know, pretty much the whole video has been quite negative, but you know me guys, I have to give you the truth. However, that being said, the truth is also that as of right now, I have sold over £3 million worth of products on Amazon FBA, and a lot of my students are in 6 figures too, with many more to join the 6-figure club in 2023. And this reminds me back in 2018 when I started selling on Amazon. Everyone was telling me that I was too late. Fast forward to 2020 and nobody wanted to start because of COVID. Then in 2022, people used the war in Ukraine as a reason not to start. And I'll be honest guys, if you're looking for an excuse as to why not to start, you will always find one. Whilst me and the rest of my students will continue to sell well into the future. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.